But as we get into this one, Bear, it's a 5 seed and a 12 seed. We'll see how it turns out.
And that was a quick start there. As we see Cedar Falls off the bat grab the 1-0 lead off of the kickoff. Mocha took no time and wanted to come directly back at the Union Redhawks here, who we see with a lot of support there in chat as well. So love seeing that support from Union and hoping their team can bounce back from that early start that Cedar Falls was able to put on them.
Just as quickly Cedar Falls scores, Union answers back. Redhawks flying high and mighty here early. It's B-Darbs to open up the scoring.
And definitely did an excellent job to hop out and answer when they needed it. So that's going to hype up the Union crowd now as they push forward. It's Guga going to be bested there from Mocha, who opened up the scoring just 5 seconds in. As Reiki now will get the big clear out the center, but Guga was ready for it and will chip it right back into the zone as Epic couldn't get the read, but a teammate in support. It'll be Mocha to jump on it. Now, both of these teams, a very similar situation here that we saw in the first one already is, like you said, it's a 5th versus a 12 versus the other way around where we had 6 versus 11. That being said, a very similar situation as Cedar Falls comes in at 7-1, and you have, Union High coming in at 6-2, and apparently it doesn't matter what your record is coming in, it's just who wants it more. So we should see about the same level of compete in both of these teams here, as I would argue that's been the case here over the first minute.
You can't. I wouldn't count a 12 seed out as if they're 6-2. That's one series.
Yeah.
That's a one series difference. They could have been having an off day. So, for Union, I'm not going to count them out. Cedar Falls, I'm not going to expect too much of them. I'm assuming these teams are going to be as equal, if not more equal, than what we saw in the last series. But so far, we're deadlocked 1 apiece here in Game 1.
Yeah, constantly just back and forth. And sometimes, when you have that stalemate, you would call it at midfield, sometimes that can feel like a little bit of a lackluster game. In this case, it's been more action than you would expect from that kind of scenarios. They've been great. That's a good play downfield. The transition,
man.
The passing play, and Reiki was ready for it as he gets the redirect to put Cedar Falls ambush up 2-1.
Someone's been doing work in the training packs. That is a training pack shot if I have ever seen one.
Couldn't agree more. That was excellent work to get that redirect. Was prepared for it, and the arrow was just flawless. But now the answer back, Union, again. Will not let this one get out of hand. So although Cedar Falls have had more of the pretty goals, or the quick goals, rather, it's been Union able to answer every single time, and the tilt continues. 2:53 left in this game number 1, and both teams have made a statement, as no team will let this get out of hand. We see Reiki playing it right back down where C-Barbs is waiting for it, and he'll try to collect, but it was forced over to the side by Mocha. But Guga will keep the pressure on here to the center. A chance the bouncer will find his way through, and Sensory Soda will put Union Redhawks, give them their first lead here at 3-2.
That's a fun name to say. Sensory Soda. It just rolls off the tongue nicely. And for the ambush, they were all over the place in the box. And it's going to cost some very high-scoring game than what we saw in the last series.
Yeah, it's been already, we've had more scoring than we've seen basically in any other game of that first series, right? The 2-2 was the score towards the end of games every single time. So to see that in the first half of the game is definitely different. Definitely a more high-scoring game. And I don't think the defense has looked any more lackluster. I think the offense is just prepared. Again, cross crease. Just were able to hit that one on target, but a great idea there from Union as Reiki plays it right past the last defender as well. And Ambush able to answer again. We're equalized yet again at 3.
And just a big double commit from Union. Going to tie us back up. Not sure if there's just a bit of a lapse of communication or someone just didn't back off. At this point in the postseason, communication is so crucial to every team's success. You could almost say whichever team communicates better most likely would win the series.
Yeah, it comes down to those little finite details. Now, I agree, and communication is important all of the time, but when it comes to high-pressure situations, that's where you want it most, and Reiki able to bury it here, and credit Reiki here. Didn't fall back defensively, instead stuck with it, got that first touch, and when Mocha tapped it back down, it can be so tempting to drop back and grab a 100 boost in that situation. But again, I think it's that communication. That's it. Stay on the play. I'll get you a tap back down. And that's what Mocha did. Put it in the perfect spot to give Cedar Falls the lead directly back.
And for Reiki, I mean, in that situation, you kind of wait to see if like one of your teammates is going to go back, or if they give you the green light, be like, hey, challenge this ball. You know, you're going to go for it. Reiki with the flip reset. Goes top shelf, top cheese, whatever you want to call it. Wow.
Just amazing. The car control unreal, and then the fact that they were able to locate and find the right spot to finish on that shot. And like you said, top shelf, that's where you want to put it. Reiki goes back to work. Almost got another one followed up by Epic. Good save there from Barbs. This one's still going to stay in their zone as Mocha looks to press in as well. Sensory left it there. Reiki right back at him off the top of the bar. B-Darbs was in a compromising position. They will be yet again as the tap is in. This ambush team is appropriately named because that's what they're putting onto Union right now.
And for Union, they're struggling to defend the backboard and control the bounces off of it. At this level of Rocket League, it's a basic. You have to be able to defend the backboard, otherwise you're going to get peppered, and the ball's going to find its way into the back of your own net.
We've seen that multiple occasions here. Ambush.
Ooh.
Challenged by Union. As that one was a very dangerous play, and Ambush having to play some defense. But look at the transition play. I mean, this team has been such a quick team to try and deal with. You see Mocha beat two members of Union right there defensively as well. And then they're able to get to the back lines before you're even able to witness anything differently. Here at the 50-50, midfield will be Epic back up for. Although Darb's able to get to it. Reiki takes another shot, and I mean, that's got to be his 7th, maybe 8th of the game. As this one falls to the back wall, will be Mocha. Will be challenged there, and now back to it as B-Darbs is now Guga. Allow the chance to jump there and chip it, and that'll force Mocha up. He used a lot of his boost and took him out of the play as well, but eventually it'll be Epic to best him, and Ambush able to use that classic teamwork to push it back out. And this game had been over for quite a while, but it'll be Cedar Falls making a statement here after we saw so much back and forth. It's my thing, Ernie. We saw it early, but then halfway through this game, Ambush started laying it on, and it was led by Reiki, who had 4 of 5 shooting here in this one, and Addis to execute. But also, obviously, you have to take in consideration Union. They need to answer back, and they show that they're capable of doing it in the goal column, but I'd love to see them do it in the win column as well, because they're going to need a couple game wins before this series will inevitably get out of hand, the way that Ambush were playing in that game number 1.
We'll see what Union can do to rebound. Again, I'm always a fan of demos. Like to see a little bit more demos from Union. And just get into the faces of the ambush a bit more. Because to me, it feels like the ambush have a little too much freedom. And you got to limit them a little bit.
Challenge them. Get them out of their comfort zone for sure.
Exactly.
I've always been an advocate of that. Because that's how you kill that confidence, gain momentum for yourself. So whether or not they're able to pull that off, time will tell. You see Vaney come in as well. That's a substitution for Union too, and it worked a little bit in the first series that we saw. And so maybe not a bad time to call it here. I know you said maybe a bit of a late substitution in the last series, but now for Union, is this the right time to do it after that 6-3 loss?
I mean, I'm not the coach. I'm not the one with the players. Player might have been having a bad day, just not really in it mentally. But it's early. There's still a lot of time in this series for Union to settle in with this new trio. But I think for Cedar Falls, it kind of puts you in a good spot. Be like, hey, we're doing something right if they have to make changes this drastic this early.
Solid point. And that just kind of might feed the confidence, right? Very, very real possibility. But Union with a good chip out. Is anybody back? Good touch away as they were prepared for it. Every member of Ambush is ready. That shot, though, from Guga will be followed up and then chipped out by Epic to center field. This is Epic. At 50-50, although pressed forward, still going to be left for Mocha. That's a good shot off the crossbar. Follow-up is in. Reiki knew exactly where that one was going to fall and was able to just ride the backside of that great shot from Mocha to set him up.
And Reiki just kind of left unaccounted for as he made his way up the field, and he somehow threads the needle between all three Redhawk players. This put his team up by 1. Epic almost made it 2. As Guga had to walk a tightrope to get that ball out of harm's way.
Did a good job to handle it because, I mean, when the pressure's on, any of these playoff games are going to have that inevitable pressure. So to kind of bail out that way, especially to avoid the 2-0, was huge for Union that he was able to dig that out. We'll see now if they can make use of it, right, and make it a 2-point sway of sorts. Try to press through. It's going to be Vaney looking for B-Darp. Stayed up on the play. The shot's there. Perfect. Fine there on the far side post in order to get it around the defense. Just great aim, and Vaney, instead of taking that shot, instead found the right play on that far side post to equalize at 1.
You know, so often we see infield passes, Bear Light, but the outfield pass, very underutilized, very underrated, very effective.
When you get that goal back, it feels good. Now, answers came pretty regularly in the first half of game number 1. Now another one here as Ambush gets right back to work. This time it's Epic, able to get that goal with 1:52 left. And no surprise here that it's Mocha, the man to set them up. Mocha has had a great game when we talk about assists and being able to set up members of Ambush in game number 1, and that has continued here into this game number 2. As they will have this 2-1 lead, trying to make it 3-1 here too, as Reiki was already on it. So it'll hit the ceiling, fall down. Now Epic will turn. He's got boost in the tank, but B-Darbs, great job to challenge. And that's what you called for from Union. Be able to get up, challenge, make sure the Ambush can't get around you. And that's what Union was able to do in that one instance. And it'll be Vaney right back on it, but Mocha able to use that speed. Both teams doing a good job now to try to jump in passing lanes, but B-Darb again able to bail it off that back line. That one almost snuck through, but Union again able to bail out and keep it close as we push towards the minute left.
Minute left, Union not out of this whatsoever, but again, you got to get into the faces. A double commit will connect on the ball. Got to be careful.
Reiki back out. Be taken over by Epic. To try and sidestep B-Darbs. Instead, B-Darbs is going to push it over to Vaney. A couple of touches. It wasn't exactly what they drew up, but it did eventually play into the end of Ambush. But they're right back at it. Reiki almost snuck that one in, looking for that top left 90. But it will be dug out by the Union defense yet again. This team has done a good job of just holding on. Eventually that is going to need a change, as you knew they were going to break through. This time Mocha, typically on the assist side of things, will get a goal in this one to make it 3-1. And it will give a little bit of a cushion here for Ambush.
No, it's a good time for a cushion. You're up by 2, 20 seconds to go. So you're sitting all right. And for Union, it's felt a little quiet this game. You know, you scored 3 goals in game number 1, and you've really been shut down here. In game number 2, granted, you make that sub, so maybe they're still a little bit fresh, we'll say. Reiki again with a redirect. And just so often, the Ambush are just left unaccounted for. Or for the Redhawks, they're just too late to the challenge.
Yeah, Cedar Falls, I mean, when they click, when they want to move downfield, they're able to do it. And this has been It hasn't been every time, but Reiki is definitely a threat downfield. Knows that he can get away with cherry picking right now. So for Union, you have to recognize when Reiki's down the field. And when you do, jump on those opportunities. You have to get in their face. But right now, Cedar Falls with a commanding 2 wins early in this best-of-7 series as they'll push into Game 3 with that 2-0 lead. And rightfully so. I mean, Falls here, the ambush, if you will. Cedar Falls has been really strong, even though they had a bye in round 1, right? So they didn't play the first round of the playoffs either. And yet they're the ones having the hot start against Union, who did win their first match in the playoffs 4-0. So, again, Union might just be trying to warm up and play at that level. They will get the first goal here, as Vaney had that great setup that we saw in the last game here. And then the sub goes back to work as they leave Vaney in, and there's a reason for it. He's been pretty good so far for Union and will give them the early lead.
To me, Union a little quiet that last game. Gets on the board early, exactly what the Redhawks needed, down by 2 in the series. Gotta find the back of the net. Guga just wide once more. But I don't think this is a time to panic if you're Cedar Falls either.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Vaney right back at it, though. And now Guga, the follow-up, always saved his own teammate's shot. But, I mean, that was tough. There was just one place to shoot it where you would actually run into your own man, and unfortunately that was the exact spot where they chose to shoot it. So a bit of unfortunate situation there for Union Redhawks. That being said, at least they've given themselves a lead in the meantime here. As Cedar Falls looks to get back to work, this will fall right in front of Union's net, but they're able to dig it out. And Union Redhawks finally on top, finally have a lead. Their only lead prior to taking the lead early in this one. Well, Ernie, that was just for 4 seconds.
And game 1.
Exactly. And Cedar Falls was able to take it directly back.
Oh, it's a dangerous whiff. Good touch there from B-Darb. You know, he took his time with the shot. He could have rifled it right away. But he waited for Reiki to jump before putting that shot on. And made the defender make the move first.
And then once you get them to move first, it's always a good sign because, you know,
you can make decisions.
Exactly. If they go high, you can go low. In that instance, you can tell Reiki was just trying to jump out and was kind of, you know,
rushed.
Exactly. Right. It didn't have the time to develop it. But that being said, Mocha will get it right back again. I mean, the ambush, you're not going to go anywhere. We knew this was going to be the case, that they were going to try and bounce back pretty quickly, as they have been in the previous games as well. And now you'll see them cut the lead in half here, and Cedar Falls suddenly seems like they might be able to put something on, as those first 2 goals from Union feels like it woke them up a little bit early.
Yeah, Union, they woken up a little bit. Reiki trying to find more to tie it up. But again, a very even match like we saw in the previous best of 7. But I want to say this one, again, is just that much more closer.
So
Union
true.
is not afraid to get in the way of Cedar Falls, as they've adjusted a little bit from the first 2 games. And it's paid off here in Game 3.
Certainly has. And, you know, we keep flashing back to that first match, but it's actually kind of, you know, eye candy as far as, you know, these two matchups being exactly, or very, very similar at least. As that was when, you know, we saw in that first series that it was Coral Springs to get, to fall to Cybercats for the only loss that they had in that series as well. They're kind of turning that way too. What a passing play. Mocha was available and ready to turn and laser that one in. And with 2:10 left on the clock, he has equalized it too.
And again, Mocha, he is sort of cherry picking upfield, waiting for the clear to come his way. Ball got cleared upfield, and he button hooked at the midfield line. Found the back of the net, tied this one up. So for Union, they got to start recognizing the half rotates and the cherry picks that the ambush like to utilize.
Yeah, we talked about that quite literally last game. And so we'll see them get back to work, though. A good passer from Union, but cut off by Epic right there at midfield. And a quick turn as well, has Guga in the sights. Guga had to pre-jump to get that save, does a good job. And now Reiki tried to get a pass, but that was a bit of a dangerous one, as it was across the pitch where his teammate wasn't, and the other team was allowed the chance to try and transition, and Union Redhawks couldn't quite find a way back down and past them, as Mocha will now turn. Reiki, unfortunately, again, caught Mocha there. But the tap back down, Reiki there in the slot, good touch away from Guga, as he's able to get a couple of touches now to the corner. It'll force Epic back up to it here. As Cedar Falls, we're knocking on the doorstep. Union defense able to jump up. And that's a challenge to the box. A bit of a miss. Otherwise, that would have been a good chance. Now in transition, look out. The shot's there. Epic will give Cedar Falls Ambush the 3-2 lead with just over a minute left.
Do we call this a cherry pick?
I think so.
I mean, again, it's right there.
Close.
The Union just refuses or just can't seem to recognize when there's a cherry pick up field. And for the ambush, their passes have just been on the money every single time they have someone upfield ready to shoot the ball.
That might be, why Union is so susceptible to it. It's because a lot of teams, when they try and cherry pick, at this level, in the HSEL, in the Central Division, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking down. I'm just saying that's a very difficult thing to do,
yes,
is to hit those down pitch passes so effectively.
It's a different thing to hit a moving object, i.e. the ball, than hit a moving object towards another moving object. If that makes any sense.
100% does. I think everybody knows that that's the case, right? It's very, very difficult, and they might do it again. Oh my goodness, they do! Reiki got a touch on that! What is that pass down the field? Cedar Falls is just playing at a whole different level. Wow.
Why is he there in the first place? I am flabbergasted.
I can't. I mean, that was epic. We saw something similar to that at the RLCS level when we saw a play from the Falcons where TRK was down the pitch and was able to get just enough of a ball to send it that speed into the back of the net. I mean, I'm not comparing these players to RLCS majors, players, competitors. But that play was as close as it gets. I mean, Cedar Falls has been great. They'll take this one as well. They'll head to match point, 3-0 up in the series, and they have been outstanding in the transitional play here.
And the transitional play, Cedar Falls has been world class. Wait for it. There we go. And yes, it was a Union to find the early goal, but I don't think one's going to do it, Bear.
No, not the way that they've been able to play in transition. And now, what a bailout, though, from B-Darbs. As I was about to say, I almost got ahead of myself. I almost said ambush. Back at it again to even it so quickly. But instead, Union will still have this 1-0 lead, at least for now. But, yeah, Arnie, you're right. One is not going to do it for Union. Luckily for me, I've seen Union, they've definitely been able to connect on a few goals in a row from time to time. They'll need to do a lot more, though, as that shot goes a little bit wide. B-Darbs will bail it out from his own box, and Guga was there trying to show us a little bit of the Cedar Falls play, as they had one down the pitch. And transition, Mocha! Oh my goodness! The only place he could go top corner in order to go bar and in, and he was able to pull that off. The perfectly placed ball.
He couldn't have gone more upper 90. And that's off the post, off the crossbar. And for Union, you're going to want to get back into the lead. That was a good shot from B-Darbs. Guga's going to clean up. Shooting behind the defender, Bearlight, so key. And that's what B-Darbs did here, just got too much on it. Luckily had a teammate right there. Union back in the lead.
I think it was Mocha who we called out prior. I believe it was in game 1 for playing so patiently. So Cedar Falls definitely had that characteristic, right? And now Union comes back and showed a lot of patience of their own, B-Darbs specifically, in order to get around the defenders, have them bite. And it was Reiki, by the way, who's been really good defensively as well, in addition to his goals. And he was able to wait him out, get the defender to bite first. That's what we said earlier in the series, and it applies yet again here in this game number 4 when Union needs it most, when they are literally backs against the wall and will be for all 4 games if they're able to force a game number 7 at all. And the way that Ambush gets it and puts it right back at a bar down. Mocha again. That's twice where he's found just enough loft to put it past everybody. And he's equalized this one in his own effort here as Ambush able to equalize.
Mocha from the other side of the field. Nonetheless, this team can score from anywhere, whether it be in the crease, just outside the box, at the midfield line, or even in their own end. The Ambush are ready to strike. And for the Union, it's just another layer that they have to look out for.
As if they didn't have enough to deal with in the first place.
Exactly.
Right? It's been wild. So just more things that they're looking out for. And this is what Ambush will do for you. Epic again gets the flip reset. Had it in the back pocket, had the flip. Didn't use it though, as they ran out of time before Union was able to jump on it. Luckily for them, that was the case. As Epic tries to use the ceiling. This is chipped off the corner from Reiki, looking for Mocha. That one's going to be cut off just short. And Reiki using that speed to beat Union in the midfield. Epic already up for it. Flip reset once. Gets it past one. No, B-Darb's able to follow up the shot from Mocha. And B-Darb's able to touch it.
Oh, man.
Guga enough off the inside of his post as well to at least send this out. But now Mocha right back at it. He's got the corner as well. This one will fall down. Reiki has to be patient here as he looks like he essentially messed up Vaney. Not sure if he was faked out by it. But either way, Ambush is definitely making Union nervous. You can tell that they are just biting their fingernails, trying to get this one out of their own zone.
Yeah, Union gripping the controller maybe a little too tight right now. You got to relax a little bit. You're still in this game. You got to look at it as any other game, Bear. You know, the series is 0-0. That's how you got to go into every game, every postseason match, whatever it is. Every game is a fresh start. Or Ike try to be a little too fancy with that shot. Rather than just put something on net. And it looks like we might need extra time. Ooh, hold on. Definitely thought that ball hit the ground. There it goes. Okay. Everyone breathe. Give the belts another tug. Going to overtime. Ambush looking to put this one away.
And that might do it to shot. Oh, that was a Union rather, as Vaney tried to keep them alive with one goal. Union were the ones looking shaky, so I agree with you there, Ernie, when we talk about, just to put a shot on if you're Ambush, right? Reiki could have just forced the hand of Union. To force them to make a simple save is a little bit more difficult when you haven't taken a deep breath, or at least it doesn't seem that way for Union in a very long time. But Epic will turn Vaney, able to get it out to center. Reiki will push it back towards the net and perhaps do what we were asking. And that was just put a shot on the follow-up. What a save from Vaney. Will keep them alive as well. From the sidewall, he'll turn. In transition, Mocha is able to chip it out, but B-Darbs is already there. Out the center, and Goog was not able to get that last touch. Guga instead will have to wait back and leave it for Vaney. But Epic was there to shield it on the wall. It's B-Darbs right back at him. Now Reiki, a good touch back forward, leaving just Guga back. He's got a challenge, and when he does, it almost forces its way through, but instead, Vaney will be left here. And B-Darbs on an island needs some support, and we'll get it from B-Darbs. Put right back in.
An awkward touch. You're kidding. Epic off the ceiling. Going to get this one to go through, and it's just a tough 50.
Man. And it felt like Cedar Falls were going to break through here, Ernie. It did not feel like it was